And ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome you to Friday night league racing action here at Inters Racing League for another pre-season race. This time, as you can see, we are in Qatar for a fantastic night of action, as it should be. Seen a couple of races around this track on the new game, and it's provided some great action. So looking forward to the action tonight. Scotty here with you once again for the Intersocial. Shout out to Tetris. Obviously, the logo reveal that we've seen a couple of days ago, and then the lovely intro package that Tetris has made up for us. So fantastic to have that on board this season. And you'll see that anytime someone streams through OBS. So can't wait for that. Just waiting for a few more guys to get into the lobby. A few guys having a few connection issues as the servers have just sort of been struggling all afternoon, unfortunately. So probably a little bit of a delay. Hopefully we're not too far away from getting underway. But again, pleasure having you with us on this lovely Friday night. We've got 3 socials coming up this weekend, and we shall look at where they take place. Obviously, the logo revealed yesterday. Fantastic by Tetris and the guys doing that. So Qatar tonight, we have Australia tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. and then Mexico we have on Sunday. But not the only thing on Sunday, we have lottery night for our team captains. They've already made their ball selections in terms of how many picks they want in the lottery, in terms of Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. So each captain was given 12 balls assigned to, or to be dispersed between all 3 tiers. And whatever numbers they come up, that gave them more chances to get a higher spot in the draft order for each tier. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes Sunday night. So looking forward to that one. But you can see week 4 next week, driver sign-ups closed on the Monday. I know that says Friday, but it's Monday the 24th of June. On Wednesday, we'll see our calendar released. And some people, I'm looking forward to what the calendar will throw up, so it should be good. And then obviously the big night on Sunday, June 30th. That's draft night, so all 10 team captains will pick their drivers for the upcoming season. And then just a reminder of who are the team captains. As a bit of a refresher, Sam leading Red Bull, Aussie in the Mercedes, Cam Devastator, the McLaren TP, Ray holding the Aston position, checkered flag in charge of RB. Battlecat has control of the Maranello team. Buster has Alpine. Parsifal has Stake Kick Sauber. Broseph leads the Haas team, and then Legend, our final TP, rounds out our Williams team. So obviously these 10 drivers, TPs, will be looking at all the socials over the last few weeks and choosing their favourite drivers from the pool. So it should be a very, very interesting draft, as the last few seasons, of course, has been as well. But we've got Qatar to look forward to, as we've been given the green light, so we're not too far away from some action. But we have 29 laps around this Qatar GP, around this 5.419 kilometre circuit, 16 corners. Only the one DRS straight, obviously down the start-finish straight. So you've got to see a lot of action potentially at turn 1, obviously. As I mentioned last time, the ERS modes, obviously, you can save and burn a lot more, so it's going to be a little bit of strategy as well. But the C1, the C2, the C3 compounds, obviously, Qatar, we know how tough it is on tyres. As you can see on the bottom right-hand corner, tyre stress at 5, maximum lateral movement as well, downforce, you do need a fair bit. Obviously, with how low in the corners are, you need the car to grip up. Asphalt grip, abrasion, sort of medium, and track evolution, obviously, you can get quite a bit as we go into an 18-minute quali session. So, should be good to see who can pick up pole position and lead out from the front. But we've just loaded into the session, So I reckon it's time to get into qualifying here at Inters at Qatar. And as we load in 17 drivers, we definitely had a full grid. Unfortunately, obviously with those connection issues, as I said at the start of the stream, just throwing a couple of people unfortunately out. Hopefully they can join before the 18-minute session is over and done. So it should be a interesting one tonight. Obviously, a few drivers obviously. I actually called a race around this particular circuit the other about a week ago or the other night, and a couple of drivers were on that grid, and I'm looking at a certain Mercedes TP that I felt was not too bad around here, so should be interesting to see as we'll wait for the drivers to head out on circuit. As thank you, Leonard P, all the guys in the background, obviously designing the new logos, the overlays. They've wanted to put a lot of work into this new season, and it's a pleasure to sort of test it out tonight, and obviously in the pre-season, getting ready for our first cross-play season here at Inters Racing League. And obviously we're not too far away with the draft being next Sunday night. So we're following Mercy at the moment. Dry in qualifying. I did actually see rain here in a quali session about a week ago, so thankfully it's back to normal with the dry conditions, and I'd imagine a lot of drivers are happy about that. So as we just get everything up for everybody. Jeremon, Battlecat, Parzival, always good to see you in the chat. As who we gonna follow? We might follow. I was on Mercy before. We'll follow him. He won't be happy about that because no line this season for Dunno, for Mercy. So we'll wait and see how they go as we do come around the final corner to start a lap of this 5.419 kilometre circuit as the one and only DRS zone as we come down to turn number 1. The sweeping first corner. Mercy just keeping it within track limits. Goes to the left-hander at turn 2. And then the little kink at turn 3 flat out. Then we get the double right-hander at turns 4 and 5. As he throws the car in with a little bit of room on the outside. So it was not bad. Turn 6. I believe the slowest corner on the circuit, turn 6. So nicely navigated there. You can see the battery usage at the moment, so you can tell not on hot lap, but you can tell a bit of overtake being used here and there as we come through turn 9, and then turn 10 goes a little bit wide, a little bit deep on the brakes. The nothing corner of turn 11, and then we have the triple right hand at turns 12, 13 and 14. So just got to be careful to keep at least part of your wheel on track. Has done that. Turn 15. So one corner left to go. Sealpill takes the fastest lap at the moment. Then Aussie straight away beats him. Mercy around the final corner. Comes across the line. And Mercy's first lap will be at 23.683 in the Red Bull. As we try and find someone else to hop on a lap. I think it is the Ferrari. As I said, it's going to... I think I said this in the stream last week. Battlecat goes in P2 just ahead of their teammate Fat Eagle. But the Ferrari and the Haas's, being the red colour, I think there may be a patch to make that colour white on the track map. I'm hoping so, because it'll be a lot easier for me to try and call... make it a little bit difficult for me to try and call 4 red cars, or 4 red dots. As we're seeing K5 goes into the top 3, King Dogger up into P4. So we've got Junkyard Dog invalidated. T7's coming into the triple right-hander. Riding on board. So just throwing the car in there. Turn 15. Just keeping it within track limits. That's usually a favourite spot for drivers picking up warnings. Coming around the final corner there, you can already see the deployment used. DRS, a quick splash across the line and goes to 22.813, goes third overall. And as you can see, the start-finish line just a little bit closer to the last corner, so not as long of a run down to turn number 1. And also another thing, as what's the battle cat? Obviously the pit lane, as you can see, after the last corner now, not beforehand. So just something the guys will have to get a little bit used to. Obviously these guys would have done a little bit of time trial practice, whether they did Grand Prix practice and actually tried to take a couple of pit stops. Yeah, they've just got to sort of remember that it is after the last corner, not beforehand. So just something to keep in the back of your mind. And goes into the top 3. I saw him at the end of last game. He looked quite quick and was impressed with sort of what his pace is like. So interesting to see how they go as Mertz has joined the session. So we'll go bump up to 18. So no, he was one of the issues, having connection issues. So hopefully the game doesn't decide to kick him out. I said just sort of rough this afternoon, unfortunately, for the service. So hopefully we can get a clean race in. As who we got coming? We do have a Mercedes. What's that? Is that Junkyard? No, that's the other one of Aussie. As Aussie's about to start their next lap. As you can see with the tyres on the left-hand side of your screen, with the ERS mode, you can go for multiple runs. As Mercy does improve, it goes to 22.205, so about a tenth and a half off provisional pole. Checkered flag. The RB team principal up front, 21.498. As I said last time out in Belgium, he looked really good. Was in the top 4 for pretty much most of the race. Thought he could have been on for the win, but unfortunately, I think the strategy sort of let him down just a little bit. But yeah, definitely good to see checkered flag right up there as well. Aussie 2K Go was a driver that these two actually had a great battle in Belgium. So looking forward to see them. And K5 as well. Really pacey as well. I think Yusuf is the only one of the 4 drivers that we saw the battle for the lead last week. Not in, unfortunately. So potentially one of these 3 may be able to pick up a win. We've got a Red Bull, I think, just standing off of the line. Aussie's coming into the pits. As K5 currently slightly down as we're switching over to him. As they come across the line, can they find a bit more time? And unfortunately they dropped 3/10, so we'll stay in P4. As Steelpill just taking a bit of a run off through turn 7. So back on track. 4 laps on those soft compounder tyres, so they'll be in for a fresh change very shortly. As you can see, a lot of guys coming into the pits now. T7s and King Dogger coming out on another flyer. We're following Broseph. Broseph invalidated their lap, so we'll see if the Haas goes again. They come in, and I saw a little bit of movement to the right, so I think Broseph thought it was before the corner of the pit lane. So I think just corrected that and safely makes it through. As we see Tetris in the middle sector at the moment. Yeah, unlucky, and as I said, you're looking quick, so we'll wait to see how we go. Devastator, always good to see you as well. So as we follow Tetris through the triple right-hander, round turn 15. One corner left to go. Down in across the line. Stays 15th. Unfortunately, found 2.5 seconds, but stays or gets now shoved down as P16 junkyard. Goes up into P14. Bad Eagles just starting their lap. King Dogger is going to be the next one across the line. Currently on a hot lap in the triple right-hander section. Just got to be careful to keep it within track limits. He certainly does that. Left-hander turn 15, a little bit of a correction you saw, but shouldn't have lost too much time. Round the final corner, we very closely went close to track limits. Bit of a correction, found a little bit of time, but stays in P10 on a 23.035. Checkered flag still leads the way. At the moment, Liquid Jake, he's jumped up into this top two, 22.016. Checkered flag still half a second clear out front though. That's sort of how well the RB TP's doing. So look quick. How's Aussie doing? On a hot lap coming up to turn 4 and 5. That was a nice line from Aussie. And he's up by 0.3 of a second in the first sector alone. So needs to find another 0.3 to get provisional pole away from checkered flag. On board, cutting turn 9. It's a good exit out of turn 10 because you're pretty much flat out for the next 10 to 15 seconds. As we come up into turn 12, we're in the middle sector up by 3.5 tenths. 13. 14, shift down. Left-hander turn 15. Been a solid last sector at the moment. One final quarter left to go. He nailed that nicely. Aussie, can he displace checkered flag for provisional pole position? He gets close, but not close enough. It is about 0.08 of a second. Aussie jumps up onto the front row of the grid. Just over 5 minutes left to go in the session, so he'll have plenty of time to come back into the pits. You can see the yellow fuel light flashing at the bottom of your screen. So it has plenty of time. Checkered flag, we want to go on board. He's slightly up on his time. One sector left to go. It's been a nice lap so far. Just manages to keep it within track limits. Can checkered flag go quicker? And he certainly can. Finds 2 more tenths and jumps into a 21.382. Just gives him a little bit of breathing room. As we've got 4 minutes left to go, K5. Impressive outing in Belgium. We'll see how this time the McLaren driver goes. Rounding turn 10 and 11 now. It's been a solid effort through the triple right hand at turn 15. Oh, that was a little bit of lag. I thought he was going to invalidate there. And you can see overtake using so. Decided to save it out for some out of the last corner. K5 goes to the top, sets the quickest final sector and jumps onto the front row. 21.544, just pipping Aussie for that P2. And these two close once again. As T7 going is slightly up on their time. One final corner left to go. Nice to the final corner. Short run to the line, DRS. And T7's improves by a couple of spots up into the top 6 now on the third row, 22.544. He's got to find a bit of a gap to Mercy and then Liquid Jake in front of him. So Battle Cat up a bit of time as well, coming around turn number 7. So interesting middle sector this one is. But you can just see the downforce levels. That car just looks planted through there. Trying to carry as much speed through turn 10. And interesting to just see the difference of ERS usage. As you can see, Battlecat sets the fastest middle sector, or at least the purple middle sector on our screens. You can see K5 obviously using a lot of it in the final sector, Battlecat using it early on, and that's the strategy play with this new ERS system. Battlecat comes across the line, jumps up into the top 7, found 3/10 on a 22.527. As we have more drivers, Ghost Rider's moved up into the top 6 as well on a 22.4. So less than 2 minutes left to go. You got Seal Pill up by a little bit, but he's only just started his lap. Jerobot's in. May not have time to set a lap time, but will at least be able to hopefully load in quick enough and get a set up. Steel Pill up by about a tenth and a bit. He needs to find a lot more time if he wants to close into our top drivers. I'm just having a look. I think K5's not going to set in a lap time, so K5 will have to settle for a front row at the moment, but you can see the 3 drivers behind on an out lap. We're about to start an out lap. Purple in the middle sector, but apparently, but Sealpill's still only up by a tenth and a bit, so Sealpill's going to have a bit of work to do if they want to close in. Jerobot joins at the back, 18th. So just need to get a setup on and at least come out of the pits to be able to do that. Oh, Sealpill goes deep. I think he's turned off enough battery that he can go again. Did find 2 and a bit tenths. That was a wide moment that's cost him a little bit. Battlecat starting their final runners. We got an Alpine spun around at the final corner. Not sure who that was. King Dogger, I think. Batman goes up into the top 11. No, not King Dogger. The other Alpine. So that's J-Man. And unfortunately, just with the way J-Man spun, will not be able to go for another lap. As I think that was Ant goes into the top 5. Down a little bit more time, 22 flat. Just behind Liquid Jake. I think we got the Haas. No, we got the Fat Eagle starting their final lap. As we do hit the checkered flag. And you can see the drivers that will not be able to complete another lap. We've got Liquid Jake coming across the line. Can they improve? They found a lot of time, but unfortunately had to stay in P4. We got the Alpine next. King Dog crosses the line down on their time. What about the Mercedes? Junkyard goes up into the top 11. What about Aussie? Crosses the line. He jumps back up into provisional second place. Checkered flag is about even, but actually goes purple in the middle sector up by a tenth of a second. I think he might have pole anyway because Ant's not going to be able to improve. Battlecat has invalidated and Sealpill is in. It is only starting P10 at the very best. But we're going to have a look at our pole man. Can they go even quicker? DRS across the line and did set a faster lap time, 21.375. Aussie wasn't quite able to beat it, but Checkered Flag has the 2 quickest laps of the session, and that is a closer qualifying than I expected with Aussie so close. But it's going to be Checkered Flag, your pole sitter for 29 laps around Qatar. Aussie just behind by about under 300ths of a second, and then K5 unfortunately didn't get another lap in, unfortunately. So it would have been interesting to see what time more time they had to find, but is only just over a tenth and a half behind, and Liquid Jake as well. Don't rule out the Haas driver, definitely in the mix. Great action from what we saw from the guys, and this will be your grid for the race coming up. Checkered Flag, Aussie, K5, your top three, Liquid Jake and Mercy, Ghost Rider, Battle Cat, T7, Seal Peel running out our top 10. Junkyard Dog, Batman, Tetris, King Dogger, Rosef, Fat Eagle, J-Man, and Jerabot, who did join the session, hopefully got a setup on, will join from rear of the grid. J-Man, obviously, with that spin, unfortunately, unable to improve from P17 and on the 9th and final row of the grid. So that is qualifying done. Coming up next, we have the race for who can win the social race at Qatar and have more pace going into the draft in terms of who the TPs are looking at as we wait for the drivers to set their strategies, set their fuel, maybe change a bit of front wing if they can, if they weren't entirely happy with their setup. I said downforce is definitely key here. And as I said, you can sort of use DRS and ERS to sort of mitigate the high downforce setups. Oh, and Ants unfortunately left the session. Hopefully we can get him back in very shortly. And yeah, unfortunately, I think he's don't think it's the net. I think it's just the DC. But we do have the 5 red lights on. Can check it, lead us away. We are green. Race is underway, and it's a solid start from the top 2. Aussie's going to have the inside line. Check it. Can he hold it around the outside? And he does just that. Coming around turn 2, Aussie will have the better run. And we'll look like we're still all facing the right way, coming through turns 4 and 5 for the leaders. And it's a little bit wide from K5. Wouldn't surprise me if that's a warning. Further back, we've had a half spin from one of the halves of Liquid Jake. So, a bit of a poor start from the halves. Was in the top 4, unfortunately at the back of the field now. You can see the strategies there, medium hard for the guys. There was a couple of things of a soft tyre, but I don't think you're really looking at that. As you can see a spin in the background, that's a Ferrari. And I think J-Man. So a couple of collisions and a bit of carbon fibre. So I have a feeling one of these drivers, and that might be Fat Eagle, that's got a bit of wing damage. So contact further back. Meanwhile, we've got Ant and Seal Peel having a couple of battles. We'll have a look at our tyres. Majority of the drivers on the medium compounded tyre, 3 starting on the hard, and unfortunately one of them, Liquid Jake, has been involved in a little incident and is all the way back down in the field. Checkered Flag, fastest lap, managed to keep pole position, but you can just see Aussie right on the rear of the RB. Stays in P2 as have a look at this battle coming into turn number 1. Batman just ahead of King Dogger and in P9, and he's under pressure from the Aston. So T7, so not sure if Ant's got a little bit of wing damage, but he's fallen down the field a little bit. So just interesting to see how these guys are just fighting their feet as Seal Peel's gone off limits, and I'm imagining it was Seal Peel. He's gone off track limits again. So I'm pretty sure he was the one that kicked up all the advertising boarding, what we saw in the background. So I feel Seal Peel really struggling with track limits. Already got the 3-second time penalty. You got both passes. One half's definitely off track. Inside, down. Oh, and that's contact. And you're right, Ant, you're not even in the session, so I'll see if I can get you in. I think I may have you as a friend. I do. So hopefully you can get that. Hopefully you get that one in. Xanon's gone on to the intermediate tyres for whatever reason. Oh, and that's Mercy having a big moment through turn 7. As we've got a yellow flag. Not even in that section. So I'm going to head back to the front because checkered flag's under big pressure from Aussie. As we come around turn the triple right hand, no, not triple right hander, turn 4 and 5. Now the hairpin at turn 6, a little bit of a lock up from checkered, but he's holding strong. K5 in P3. Ghost Rider's hanging on to this top 4, or the top 3, I should say. K5 on the hard compounded tyre, so he's obviously going to go a little bit longer. Tetris gets past T7s for P9. Having a look at our position changes, you can see a lot of movement in the top 10. Oh, Tetris has a bit of a moment. Thankfully, stays in P9, but could open the door for T7s, who's actually got Junkyard Dog right on the back of the Aston Martin. But unfortunately, you can see the big losers, Liquid Jake and Mercy, down 10 apiece. So it's getting close. DRS obviously activated at the start of lap 2. Liquid Jake picking up a 3-second time penalty. So having a bit of a shocking race to start with, but we have a change for the lead. Aussie down the inside of checkered flag and takes P1. So sort of how strong a bit of battery management is, a bit of DRS. And takes the race leads in and coming in again off those intermediate tyres back onto a medium set, but unfortunately he's very close to being lapped. So we'll need a safety car early on, and we might have just got it as we got Liquid Jake and Jeremot having an issue. I think that was just a collision mid-corner. Jeremot looks like they've got both their end plates in, or on I should say, and Liquid Jake, the Haas, looks like they got both end plates on as well. So thankfully still facing the right way, still got all of it. And I'm really unfortunate. As I said, it's just a shame that the servers have been like this all afternoon. I had that issue a few times, so hopefully it can stay connected for myself. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that we're just having so many issues with the lobbies and with the servers, unfortunately. As T7s picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that would have been turn 15. The fast left-hander before the final corner. Checkered flag down the inside. And retakes P1. Who's a little deep though, so Aussie got to try and fight him back. Not really an overtaking move, but he's forcing checkered flag to be defensive. As we come up into the run to turn 4 and 5. You thought Aussie may have gone for a move, but as I said, you're not exactly going all-out attack at the moment. As I said, we only just started at the start of the race, so just a bit of management here. But Ghost Rider hanging strong. Battle Cat doing a good job in P5. Got Sealpill behind, but these guys are 5 seconds off the lead group. Batman is 6 seconds off as we got a spinner. Aston Martin T7s picked up a penalty and now having a spin off out of turn 6, and George just in front of their teammate. And I think he's going to let Jeremot go through. Well, they're sort of working it out between themselves. I think Jeremot was trying to get out of the way. Oh, sorry, T7's trying to get out of the way. Back up to the front. Round in the final corner. So Aussie will have the DRS now. Remember, K5 sitting in a good position on those hard compounded tyres. If we don't get an early safety car or a safety car in the next, say, 10 laps, he'd be looking good to chuck on a set of medium tyres towards the end. It'd be super, super quick. As we go side by side, Aussie has the outside line in turn 2. Some side by side, we saw these two go at it last week in Belgium. And checkered flag just holds on. RB team principal versus Mercedes team principal, and it's RB winning out at the moment. But again, we're only lap 6 of 29 through, so no safety cars or VSCs as of yet. As I most certainly can send you another quick invite. As we've got a yellow flag, as I just caught that, Fat Eagle having a spin in front of the leaders, so not exactly a great spot. As his teammate, and has about a 6-second gap now as Xandon picks up a 3-second time penalty. I think that's his second, actually. Looking out at the penalties. No, Xandon's picked up 9 seconds already after 6 laps. More time penalties than laps done, unfortunately, for Xandon. So not the race that he's wanted, and he's about to get lapped as well. So checkered flag ahead of Aussie, ahead of K5, ahead of Ghost Rider. Our top 4. And Ghost Rider on the medium tyres. I don't think we'll be trying to push the issue too much. He's doing a really good job hanging on to this top group. Battle Cat's actually lost a couple of, about a second and a half from last we saw it as Batman down the inside. Bat Eagle has retired, and that is a safety car. Looks like he's retired coming into pit lane. And had a bit of a moment, so not sure what happened there. Having a look, it was further down the pit entry, so would have been here. Not sure, but Ant comes into the pit lane, so this is the worst case scenario for K5. He did not want the safety car coming out this early. Xandon, I don't know if Xandon knows how to stay on the track at the moment. He's got another 3-second time penalty. He's up to 12. And Xandon, if you can hear me, don't make your pit stop now. Just focus on getting your lap, or staying on the lead lap. So Xandon, if you can hear me, I know you've only been on those tyres for 3 laps, but do not make your pit stop now. Wait for the guys to catch the safety car, and if you need to make a pit stop, do it then. Just make sure you stay on the lead lap. Otherwise your race is gone. Xandon, don't pit. Oh, he might be right, but if everybody else doesn't come in, I think K5 is actually going to come in, and Xandon picks up a 10-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane. And I'm sorry about that. As I said, such a shame. You qualified quite well, but then obviously getting kicked out in the transition between quali and the race. As Xandon is very lucky. I was going to say he's very lucky. Unfortunately, Liquid Jack stays out. Xandon's a lap behind now. So he sort of needs Liquid Jack to be kind to him to let him through. But every single driver making a pit stop under this safety car. So obviously free pit stop, both Astons, as you can see, double stacking in the background. So T7's off the medium tyres after that spin out of turn 6. Yeah, just those the online servers error, unfortunately. Just a shame, as I think Liquid Jack did let Xandon through. So actually, that's quite nice of him, because he could have easily just kept him behind. So Liquid Jack has done that. Liquid Jack's got the 3-second penalty at the moment. Only driver yet to make a compulsory pit stop, Liquid Jack. So he's obviously wanting another safety car at a later point. K5 obviously had to make another stop too. On the medium tyres, he's going to take them quite a distance. So we had actually called a similar situation where someone at this particular track started on the hards. There was a safety car around this time, had to go medium tyres. They decided to take another stop, get another set of medium tyres, but didn't quite catch back up to the lead. But they finished in 2nd place, so it's possible to do a 2-stop from here if you've got the pace around here. But K5 sort of needs to get a bit of a move on after this restart, especially if they have to make another stop. But it'll be interesting to see how they go. And you're back in, thankfully. You're 16th. Your car has made a pit stop as well, so at least you're sort of in the train, or will be in the train, because we'll go one more lap as Mercy comes in 6 laps on their medium tyres, so they'll come in, maybe change to a set of hards if they've got them. Because they had a box lap 1. So, and hopefully you stay in this time. We'll have a look at our position changes that we want. There we go. So Liquid Jake up 3. Remember, the only person yet to make their compulsory stop. Checker Flag and Aussie pretty much net with that. They're effective 1 and 2. Ghost Rider up 3. So Ghost Rider actually made ground in the pit stops. K5 must have gotten held. So Ghost Rider was in P4 before prior to the pit stops. Is net P3. Battle Cat closes that gap along with Seal Peel to the top to the leaders. Batman up into P8, King Dogger in 9th, Junkyard in 10th. So all this midfield group up spots. Broseph up 4, Jeremot up 6. And obviously one of the biggest losers down 10, Mercy down 11. Zenon up 1 starting from the rear of the field. So we got 19 in, so someone's joined and I haven't even realised. I was pretty sure we had 18 at the end of the quali, but anyway. So hopefully that disappears. They fix that visual glitch. Oh. Goes from bad to worse, doesn't it? It's as J-Man has a bit of a spin. Or Mercy's collected him. Mercy's let him through. So I'm just wondering if there was a bit of an issue, and Mercy's actually has gotten past Zen. So not sure what's happening at the back. Safety car's in at the end of this lap. So we'll watch the leader. Liquid Jake will lead, but how will their 8-lap-old hard tyres actually go for him? It's a short run to the line. Hopefully Liquid Jake's noticed that. They've gone. Look out for Aussie. He'll try and capitalise. As we make our way into turn number 1. Checkett probably had to burn just a little bit as we go Ghost Rider and K5. K5 needed to get the move done. Gets past the Williams up into P4 once again. As guys just trying to get a bit of tyre temp. Ghost Rider trying to get back as the Battle Cat had a better run through turn 4, now turn 5. Will he have a bit of a move down at turn 6? He won't. But he's at least with the lead group now. As Ed unfortunately is retired from the session as they left. So that would have been that glitch that the cars retired on their own. Trying to rejoin. Really unfortunate, Ant, for yourself. But as I said, you're at least showing good quality pace. And pace is one of the things the TPs are looking out for. So obviously a couple more social races this weekend if you can do them. But yeah, really unfortunate for you. Meanwhile, at the front, Liquid Jake's just hanging in there. Checkett Flag still just trying to get a bit of tyre temp. Sealpil picks up another 3-second time penalty down in 7th. And Checkett's sort of struggling just a little bit. DRS now enabled for the guys to start attacking at the end of this one. As you've got K5 and Aussie. And Aussie trying to go around the outside if they can. Needs to hold up the McLaren. And it was solid traction through there. Has the nose up the inside. But can't do it. Just the extra grip on those medium compounds. And K5 up into the top 3. And as I mentioned before, Checkett Flag just struggling a little bit. Does the McLaren have a dip at turn 6? No. Aussie got close behind. And as I said, these 3 had a great battle in Belgium last time out. Liquid Jake holding their own. So remember, they've still got to make a pit stop. But the penalty does hurt them 3 seconds. But we'll go on board with the McLaren for a little bit. Around turn 11. We got the triple right-hander. Gap behind him. About 3.5 tenths. As they're just a bit of a gear down into 6th. little bit worse through turn 15 than the RB in front checkered flag, but checkered flag will have DRS. And does Checker try and get the move done as quickly as he can at the first opportunity? Purple in the final sector as we got to nearly go through wide. The McLaren saw the gap, backed out of it, but still stuck the nose down the inside of Liquid Jake, and that was all important for the McLaren driver to get that move done ahead of Liquid Jake, who is on 11 lap old hard compounded tyres, only driver yet to stop, as I've said before. So straight fight between these two, but again, how long will those mediums still provide grip? But does set the fastest first sector. DRS would have helped. Xanon picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's up to about 15 seconds worth. So he won't be making much ground because he's just going to drop back with all those penalties. He's got to be careful he doesn't actually get disqualified. T7's having a moment. Not sure if they've hit the wall, but they've definitely hit the signage on the side of the track. Just got to be careful about the rejoin. Mercy thankfully further back, but Mercy's really struggling. He's 10 seconds off. Remember, Mercy not running any line for this one. He's turned that assist off, but he's really struggling to get to grips of his braking points. As Check comes around the final corner, I have a feeling that K5 will get the move done down this start-finish straight and lead this one for the first time. And with ease does that as Aussie, Liquid Jake defending Aussie. Aussie nowhere to go. He's trying to get past the Haas driver around the outside. You can just see no grip for the Haas, and there's got to be slight contact. I thought Aussie was going around, but there's wing damage as the guys behind trying to take avoiding action. And I think it was not Aussie, it's the Haas. Well, I thought the Haas actually picked up wing damage as well, so was that maybe a bit of signage on the inside of turn 2? Not sure, but they've gotten away with it. Problem is Aussie's now 2.2 seconds off of the race lead. So really needs to hurry up to try and close that up, but Checkered Flag's just going to try and keep within K5 and DRS just to let K5 use those medium tyres for K5. About a tenth and a half off losing Checkered Flag, and he needs to break. So as we come up to the final corner, lap 13 to 29, about to start lap 14, so we're nearly at half race distance. So both of these drivers up front, K5 sets fastest lap. K5 on the medium compounded tyres, he's going to take them a long, long way. So I think Checkered knows he just needs to keep within K5 and he'll definitely have the tyre advantage at the end of this one. So Aussie P3, Silpill has clawed his way up through the field a little bit. So up to P4, penalty will hurt him. Remember, Liquid Jake still needs to make a pit stop as we got plenty of movement back there as Rosef losing a couple of positions. Losing a position, and he's got Xanon right behind. Xanon closing in. Problem is, you can see Xanon has 25 seconds worth of time penalties. Oh, he thought he had a lunge. You can see side by side with the Haas. The Haas had the better traction out of turn 6. Get that back up. And it's got a decent scrap. Oh, but Xanon goes a little bit deep through there and loses all that time, unfortunately, so drops back from this group. So you got Batman, you got Tetris, we got a yellow flag, that is Mercy. Xanon picks up another 3-second time penalty. Mercy's hit the wall. I think it was light enough that he didn't actually pick up wing damage. But Mercy's having a bit of a shocker, but I pretty much saw that coming. Yeah, just unfortunate for Mercy. He'll keep trying to go and get a bit of practice in. Meanwhile, this battle for the final positions in the 10. So Batman gets past Tetris. So this little pack's getting a little bit scruffy as you got Jeremot down the inside. So bit of ERS usage, I'd imagine, and burns past Tetris. So Tetris losing multiple positions on this lap. Oh, and you can just see a little bit of a snap off the exit of turn 6. So Tetris just struggling a little bit. So with 7 lap old hard compounded tyres, they shouldn't be too bad. Possibly just getting to the point where they just maybe starting to hit that first cliff, maybe a little bit. Oh, as Tetris hits the wall. I was going to say a bit of overheating or whatever. He's lost an end plate, unfortunately. And he's had a shocking lap. So not sure, maybe the temps aren't quite right for him, but that's going to have to be another pit stop for the RB. They'll come in for a medium compounded tyre, you'd imagine, but not the best lap 16 for Tetris. Did a wonderful job with the logo and the graphics, but unfortunately will find themselves falling towards the back of the field as you got Broseph and Jeremot still racing very closely. Gap out front, half a second. So we're showing a little bit of love for this midfield pack, but we'll have to go back to the leaders shortly. Checkered Black holding his own on board King Dogger v Batman. So nice little scrap this is between these two. T7 picks up another 3-second time penalty at the back of the field at the moment. That got very close. I thought King Dogger was actually going off track there and about to pick up a warning, but just saves it. But still, this big train, the fairly decent train from Batman down to Xandon. Ghost Rider picks up a 3-second time penalty, and they've got Junkyard Dog for company. And that Batman battle's actually not too far away, actually. So guys, got to be a little bit careful as Ghost Rider's actually coming into the pit lane. So what's off these hard compounded tyres? Got to do a 2-stop actually. So interesting call from Ghost Rider as King Dogger gets the move past Batman. As soft compounded tyres, that's 12 laps. That's quite early for soft tyres. I'd imagine softs would just burn out here. So we'll keep an eye on Ghost Rider's pace, but if he only went 9 laps on hards, I don't know how he's going to get 12 laps on the softs. So interesting call there from the Wooms driver. But be able to show some quick pace at the moment. We've got a yellow flag, and that is T7's. I think I was going to say getting out of the way, but they've had a spin. Just got to be careful of the traffic behind. And he's going to rejoin safely. So just obviously not wanting to get involved. Meanwhile, we've got Jeremot losing position to Xandon. So again, this group getting very close together. The gap out front is 7-10. Says Jeremot sends a move on Xandon. Not quite happening. As you got T7's just getting out of the way of that next pack. As you got Battle Cat and Liquid Jake. Liquid Jake finally into the pit lane. So our final car will come in, I'd imagine, a set of medium tyres. That's most certainly what they go on to. So Liquid Jake will be quick in this last phase of the race. Probably wanted a VSC or a safety car to try and limit some of that that damage, but decided to stay out. So we'll watch their progress through the field. Their first challenge is Liquid Jake, and then this pack that we're watching now. As Tetris picks up a 30-second time penalty, same as Xandon. So Xandon's got some decent pace. Problem is he can't keep it on the track. He's up to 31 seconds worth of penalties, and I have a feeling Xandon's going to be very close to getting disqualified here. We've still got 11 laps left to go. So Xandon, if you can hear me, keep it on track. Otherwise, you're going to be screwed trying to make it to the end here. We'll keep an eye on that. But he's got some solid pace in, and so obviously he can't doubt that at the moment. He's holding his own against this group. Just need to just reel it in just a little bit with track limits. Seal Pill, however, is just staying with the Mercedes TP of Aussie. Meanwhile, we got this pack up front. K5 versus Checkered Flag, and I'm just wondering if those mediums are just starting to go off a little bit. And I think Checkered, he knows he doesn't really have to, don't have to really push here. Just needs to stay with it. He'll know he's got the tyres at the end. Batman and King Dog are still having a lovely scrap for P7. And with guys pitting in front, so it'd be solid points in the season proper. P7, 8, 9, and 10. As you can see, the 5-car train that we do see. So ahead of this group, all the fields sort of spread out. Battlecat's got sort of no one near him. Junkyard's got sort of no one near him. And it's sort of a couple of little pairs up front. Then you got this big scrap here. So it's all about time management, ERS management as well. Who's been able to look after their stuff more. As Bruce, Batman runs a little bit wide, that will allow King Dogger to have a chance of a move. On board with the Alpine. Not quite close enough, but we are going to have a change for the lead, are we? Checkered Flag going around the outside. I don't think the McLaren will have the grip on the inside line, and he doesn't, so Checkered Flag has a little bit of a moment though through turn 2. K5 not quite able to fight him back at the moment. So I'm just wondering if those mediums are really starting to fall off. We'll wait and see if K5 can stay with Checkered Flag or if Checkered Flag can actually move. And he actually gets purple in the first sector. But that's not going to matter anyway because K5 picks up a 3-second time penalty. Ghost, I think, picks up a 10-second penalty. Mercy picks up a 3-second penalty. But that hurts big time for K5. He was going to have a tough challenge trying to stay with the RB, but that penalty really hurts. Checkered Flag. I think if you realise, surely he'd realise that he doesn't need to massively push, and obviously now doesn't have to win this race on track. So we don't have to do anything too stupid. Just keep it within the white lines, because Aussie's 4 seconds behind. He's sort of in a battle for no one, but you don't really want to bring Aussie back into it with a silly penalty at this late stage, as we've got 9 laps left to go. How is K5 doing? And you can sort of see on the steering wheel how their ERS is going. You can just see the overspeed down the inside. Does the McLaren go? And Checkered Flag just lets him go. Didn't really fight that too hard, and will sit back behind the McLaren. As long as these two don't fight massively, gap should keep ahead of Aussie. Simple was about a second behind Aussie a couple of laps ago. Must have made a little bit of a mistake. That gap's back down to 3.3, or out to 3.3, I should say. As we see Liquid Jake, he was obviously going to be the quickest driver, and he does sit at 123. Problem is he's got past J-Man. Problem is his next problem is this pack of 5, as Jerobot thought about the move on Broseph, but stays in P11. Sanders up to 9th, as that's the Haas. I think Broseph was very lucky to keep it out of the wall. I was seeing a right front flying, but not quite. Could have easily imagined that, as Aussie now picks up a 3-second time penalty. So now Checkered's got absolutely nothing to worry about. 3 of the top 4 having a penalty. Checkered Flag just needs to coast to the end, nothing stupid, and he'll take this victory here at Qatar. Battlecat, haven't seen much of him. He's sort of been on his own in P5. Checkered does get the move back past with DRS. So he'll want to cross the line first, showing his pace, but Checkered Flag really good. As I said, strong into the season last in Season 6 for Inters. Doing really well towards the end. And I think that he got a podium in the last round at Abu Dhabi, which actually shuffled him further up I think inside the top 10 in the championship. I think if he wasn't just inside the top 10, he was just outside of it. It was a strong end for checkered flag, so it was really good to see him. Obviously, taking on a team's captain role this season, it'll be interesting to see how he works with his team, but also how he drives in. I'd definitely imagine Tier 1 this season. So it'd be good to see the battles that he'll be having. Hopefully, maybe with the likes of K5 Aussie, I believe, is driving full times. Simple, I think he is as well. I've got the draft pools. I've seen the draft pools, so not sure if we're quite ready to release them yet. The TPs would have seen. I believe the TPs have seen the draft pool, so all the drivers have signed up. So they'll have some ideas of who they actually want to pick. As we got Zen and Jerobot's again having a nice scrap. Jerobot gets back up into P9. He was P12 further back as Liquid Jake picks up a 3-second time penalty, trying to close in on those medium tyres as K5 takes the lead back. So leads us away. So he's doing alright on those medium compounded tyres, but it's the 3-second penalty that's really cost him. Meanwhile, this scrapper 5 still continuing. Batman up into P7 once again, passing the Alpine. Still picks up another penalty. They got close side by side between Broseph and Zan and Liquid Jake. Rogue Haas. Oh, there's a little bit of a snap, but he's going to go down the inside of the Aston Martin, and you can just see the new medium tyres really working their magic at the moment. And that's a quick move past Jerobot as well. He'll have the two up front that he's got to try and clear quickly. But then he's got a 6-second gap to Junkyard. So I think he was running in P6 or P7 at the time. So he's made some ground on board with the Haas driver. So he's still got a bit of time to play with to at least pass these two. But if he wants to, have a crack at least Junkyard, needs to clear this group quite quickly. So around the final corner, a bit of a moment for Batman through the second last corner. If Liquid Jake can get their move, but he gets held up just because the Alpine at a moment through the final corner, just with the tyres. He'll be able to get past, I think, one Alpine. Can he get the pair of them? And King Dogger gets past Batman. That's not what he wanted. He needs these two. Oh, and he gets blocked again. Liquid Jake's clearly got the pace. Problem is with these two going side by side. He does get past one now. Does he try and extend the move on the state car? No, he doesn't, but does he try his favourite move at turn 6? You can see much more grip. He's going to go around the outside at turn 6. And I think Batman was just going to let him have the corner. Batman was going to fight that too hard, knowing the tyre difference. So Liquid Jake back up into P7 now. But he's got 7 seconds to close in to Junkyard. Plus clear him because he's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. So I have a feeling Liquid Jake may be able to clear this group. But he's probably not going to not only catch Junkyard, but then also pass him. With so few laps left to go. We're under 5 laps remaining in this social race. J-Man picks up a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, K5 and Checkard still having a nice scrap, but this has really helped Aussie close in. Aussie will be sort of kicking himself that he's got the 3-second time penalty. And because we're down to the last 5 laps, we'll bring the ERS usage up down the bottom of your screen so we can just have a bit of a look at sort of how everyone's managing, and you can see the numbers there. As Jerobot gets past Batman, actually. King Dogger actually losing a couple of positions. So back down into P11Z and up inside the top 10. What's his penalties are like? He's still on 31 seconds, so he still hasn't got disqualified yet, which is good to see. But this battling's all for naught, unfortunately. Zen is going to be falling right back to where Tetris is, you'd imagine. But probably even further back because Tetris goes right on a brand new set of medium tyres. Somewhat new, I should say. So Aussie's really close up to this pack. So Whether the top two are saving fuel, I don't think they would be. We've had one safety car. Mercy sets the fastest lap on a 23.354 down in P16. As checkered flag. Might need to get a bit of a move on here now because Aussie's right there. He's really closed up. So whether he's holding a bit of pacing or these two are really starting to scrap, but he was about 3.5 seconds behind earlier. As we see our top three still feel about 5.5 seconds behind, so he really won't be in it. As we'll keep our penalties, as you can see, Simple up with 9. Aussie and K5 have 3 seconds apiece. Checkered flag is equal. Well, checkered flag is none, I should say, not equal. As T Simmons picks up a 3-second time penalty, 9 seconds now for the Aston Martin, currently running last. And I think, no, not quite in front of the leaders. He's ahead of the other RB. I think Checker's made his move now, 1.4 seconds. So you're just wondering if those mediums are really starting to fall off. But he's decided to break now, and without DRS to defend, you'd have a feeling that Aussie will take P2. And most certainly does. So K5 just trying to hang on to a podium position. If he can keep with the top two, he'll be right. Sealpill's got 9 seconds worth of penalties as well. So even if Sealpill catches, K5 still got 6 seconds in hand. But we'll see if Aussie can try and fight checkered for at least the on-track victory, even with the 3 seconds. Got a yellow flag. That's Alpine having a moment. Who is that? Is that King Dogger? No, it was the other one. It was J-Man coming into the pit lane. So 24 laps on those hard compounded tyres. So I wonder if that was a bit of a puncture actually. Doesn't look like it. But we'll be coming in. Oh no, that's a little bit of front wing damage actually. So front wing change, set of soft compounded tyres. We'll try and pinch Mercy's fastest lap. As you've got Tetris getting passed by Ghost Rider. Just 4 laps fresh and medium tyres, and Ghost Rider was running in the top 5. He came in for a set of soft compounded tyres, but then had to make another pit stop, either due to damage or just quick tyre wear, and unfortunately has made 3 pit stops and has thrown him all the way down into P13, unfortunately. As JB picks up another 3-second time penalty, Aussie takes the race lead. We've got 2 to go, but Aussie with the 3-second time penalty. I don't see him gapping that much then. He picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's up to 34 seconds. Yes, he is. He did get a 10-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane, which obviously he hasn't served, I don't believe. So he's picked up 24 seconds worth of penalty for track limit penalties. Pretty sure if this game's the same as last, it's a 30-second 30 seconds is a disqualification in terms of track limits. Mercy picks up another 3 seconds. T7 picks up 10 seconds for ignoring blue flags. So he's had a bit of a moment, or a bit of lag there. So I thought he ran deep checkered flag, but he is right to go. So half a second out front, K5 a little bit further back. Oh, that's a puncher. So I was wondering if those mediums made it to the end, but it's been let go. So that podium position is now gone. So just 1.5 laps too long for those medium compounded tyres, and that is gonna have to be a little bit careful. So it's the first puncher I've seen in the game, and that's looking like a mess to handle. So just those rears, and he spun. Really struggling to close in. Just got to be a little bit careful about the rejoin. So he should be good there. Unfortunately, being the last lap, he will not be able to get fastest lap. He's just going to try and bring it in safely. And he does just that, but really unfortunate. Meanwhile, actually, further forward, Checker's really struggling with his tyres. Aussie, he's got a lot of pace. He must have been saving his tyres further back because Aussie's only 3/10 away from actually breaking the 3 seconds. So you can see the penalties there. We're going to keep it on here because it's all about the time on track and on the leaderboard. So Aussie has about a sector left to go. Checkered flag needs to hold in. If he's got any ERS, he's got to use it. So we'll follow Aussie to the checkered flag. So 2 corners left to go. Zanin picks up a 3-second time penalty. Aussie, checkered flag cannot afford a silly 3-second time penalty. Rounding in the final corner. So Aussie will cross the line in first position. He currently wins. Does he gap checkered flag? No, he doesn't. Checkered flag wins by about a 10th and a half. I thought that battle was over and done with. We were sort of looking at K5 with his puncher, but that gap sort of surprised me that it got out to 2.8 seconds. But Sealpill crosses the line somehow in P3, or sort of unlucky that K5 did. A Battle Cat, great P4. Liquid Jake comes back to P5, but drops due to those penalties. Junkyard Dog, a great P5. As we can see, this great battle between Batman, Sand, and King Dogger. We've seen that for like the last 20 laps. So Batman finishes 8th, King Dogger in 9th, Brosa finishes up in P10. Zanin is going to lose a whole bunch of positions with the 37 seconds worth of penalties I think he had in the end. So K5, just unfortunate those mediums didn't hang on, got the puncher, jumps his McLaren teammate. As Ghost Rider jumps in, and no, because Ghost Rider had a 10-second time penalty, an unserved penalty. So Zanin I think will stay in P12. Tetris in P14. J-Man had a couple of moments in P15. Mercy, he's managed to hang in there. What's the fastest lap? He has got fastest lap. Does T7's take it off him? I don't think he did. So T7's will cross the line in P17. So as we take a bit of a breather from that last lap and a half, with a bit of action happening there, Liquid Jack gets the games driver of the day. But it's going to be checkered flag. It is the RB team principal who takes the top step. So got on the podium last time out in Belgium in the social, in the pre-season race, but he gets to the top step. He only barely held on to it. Aussie was only a 10th and a half away of snatching that on the last lap. But great effort from checkered flag, great effort from Aussie as well. Aussie, I thought he was sort of done after the restart in P3, but managed his tyres nicely and rounds his race in P2 and then Sealpill as well, as it's going to hopefully not give me this glitch again. Sealpill P3, great effort from him as well. Battle Cat, Junkyard Dog, those two, bit of a quiet race, we didn't see much of them, but great effort from P4, P5. Liquid Jake with the only car staying out of that safety car managed to recover to P6 on those medium tyres. Penalties sort of hurting him for Junkyard. Jeremot, Batman, King Dogger, Brosa, those guys had a great battle all race along with Zandon, who finished in P12 for all those penalties. K5 unfortunate with the puncher, ends up in P11, what should have been a podium position. Ghost Rider, Tetris, J-Man, Mercy, T7's were your finishes, and unfortunately with the connection issues, and we lost Fat Eagle, who I think we believed had a spin out of the last corner and has hit the wall, and unfortunately that caused our one and only safety car. So, had to get a bit of a breather, but as I said, it was great racing in that midfield pack. As I said, that was some great thing, great action to watch. Checking if you can hear me. We can have a bit of a chat. Where is the social channel? So we'll get him in here. So we'll switch over to our filler screen again. So we'll get him in here shortly. So checkered flag, Aussie, and Seal Pill if they want to have a chat. Obviously, we'll get them in. We've got two of the guys in, so we'll have a bit of a chat. Make sure I've got all the volumes up. We'll have a chat with Aussie first. Aussie, good race from you. You were only about a tenth and a half away from actually pinching that win. I thought you were sort of probably settling for P3, but great pace at the end. Must have managed your tyres better than the two around you, and just missing out on a race win. But again, another strong performance for yourself. Obviously leading into the draft, obviously thinking about who you're picking, but also great pace for yourself.
Oh yeah, it was a good race before the safety car happened, especially racing against Checker. He's a good clean driver, obviously. Have fun driving next to him. But yeah, once they gapped me by about 5 seconds because of a little incident, I thought fucking no chance I was going to catch them. But I think they battled a lot more than what I did in the end. That's probably why their tyres were probably a bit more dead than mine at the back end of the race. But yeah, Checker deserved it. Obviously, he had a little incident on the last corner of the second last lap. That obviously gave me a chance. But yeah, it was a good little race. I tried to push, and then I had a little snap on the last corner. But yeah, I don't think it was enough to say I would have held on to get the 3 second lead. But I think I still would have just shot. I don't think it was going to be a tenth and a bit difference.
Yeah, it was definitely close at the end, but obviously you would check in and K5 before his puncher as well. Um, the last couple of races, Belgium as well, great racing in the first in as well, with the four of yous, and then obviously you three battling again. How are you feeling going into obviously the lottery? We'll know sort of what draft order is on Sunday, and then obviously the draft. Obviously you don't have to worry about being picked, but personally, how are you finding this new game in terms of your overall pace and leading into the season? How are you feeling?
I actually obviously it's a bit hard to judge. Like so against Check It, I know tier one that's a good person to race against. But yeah, obviously you want to be able to tell you need to race against people of your own tiers and all that. So it was a good tester for me to see how I am against Checkered. I've obviously raced in other leagues to get for preseason against like bags and all that. And compared to last game, I do feel quicker than this game at the moment. But obviously, you're gonna have the real quick ones come into it sooner or later. Obviously, Chill Pill's trying no line. So he's going to take a little bit to get used to that. And once he gets used to it, he's going to be back to how he was last season. But purely for my perspective at the moment, I'm actually feeling a bit quicker on this game, obviously compared to last game. Um, so it's just qualifying wise, I've got to figure out how to use the ERS right because I'm having a fair bit of issues with that for qualifying wise.
Yeah, it is something obviously all the drivers are sort of having to manage.
Yeah,
We saw actually a few drivers sort of manage their qualifying laps quite differently on stream that we saw. So that's just the extra thing that you've got to worry about, not only in the race in terms of how you manage it, but also qualifying as well. So important to sort of, especially at tracks that you do burn a lot more, that you've got to actually be a little bit more calculated in terms of when you want to use hot lap, when you bump it down to medium, and then obviously when you use overtake to obviously manage to maximise your lap time.
yeah, but yeah. So I've noticed with some tracks that some tracks you can't use hot lap for quali because you just before you get to the last straights and all that you go into deploy, so you just lose all that speed at the back end of the lap. So Spa is one of them, Belgium's one of them, and I did notice that Qatar was one of them when I'd done a little bit of practice quali before I joined the lobby. That if you use a hot lap, the last bit of it you're not going to get the um, ERS properly. It'll just go into deploy. So, but yeah, obviously it's a learning thing to it all, which is good. I actually enjoy this. I'm actually enjoying it a fair bit this game, and yeah, obviously when your pace is a bit better than normal, you're obviously going to enjoy it too. But yeah, looking forward to the season, that's for sure.
No, as I said, it's going to be a fun one to watch, especially with obviously you guys battling as you what you have been the last couple of weeks, and yeah, it should be great fun to watch. Quick word on you. Aussie, how are you feeling? Sort of the draft, yeah, TP, obviously the lottery in a couple of days. I sort of know what you selected as your sort of where you put your ball placements, but how are you feeling for the lottery? And have you got your eye on a couple of drivers already as we go into the draft next weekend?
Yeah, obviously got a few drivers that I want. KLX is obvious one. At the moment, he's played like 5 hours of the game. He's barely played it, and when he has played it, I've raced against him. And obviously, when you don't play a game much, you're not going to have your speed like normal. But I always like just having him on my team because I seem to drive better with him as a teammate than what I would with other people as a teammate. So it's more of a perspective that it helps me drive better having him there. Yeah, obviously I've had Mertz. Mertz really wants me to pick him for tier two. I know that. Um, he is looking reasonably quick compared to most games. I think, but I think he was always quick last game as well. I've said it before in general chat and all that. And Inters, I think he'd done a little bit of a sandbag last season, so he can get back into tier two. But yeah, no, like there's a few drivers I'm looking at, and I'll just yeah for the season I'd rather just a chill team that's gonna obviously if they need to reserve up in tiers they're keen to do it and all that if need be if there's not enough reserves already checked in. So yeah, like last season was good, it was fun. Had the majority of the drivers turn up, and if they need to reserve up like Junkyard, he reserved up instantly. So yeah, just looking for a chill team basically.
Yeah, and yeah, it should be good. And obviously, I can sort of I've been in the TP position like yourself, and as I said, it's been having a chill team. Obviously, consistently showing up. Obviously, they're sort of the qualities you're looking for. But obviously, good luck on obviously the lottery. Hopefully, you can get yourself with some good high picks in the three tiers, and obviously the draft next Sunday. But again, congratulations on your pace in the last couple of weeks that we've seen as well, and obviously good luck with your season ahead.
Thanks, mate. And yeah, check it. Stay away from Mertz, please.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
I
well
didn't know you were aware.
I'm aware of everything.
That leads us on to check-in. Check-in flag, great effort from yourself tonight. I thought you sort of had that in the bag, but Aussie obviously coming in late, obviously with maybe looking after their tyres a little bit more, and then we sort of missed your little moment that you had at the last corner on the second last lap because we were sort of watching K5's puncher moment, but a little bit of a relief, I'm assuming, managing to hold on off that one, being that it was so close at the end.
I mean, look, I would have loved to have just won it on, into turn one. I knew I would have, but I don't know. I'm just speechless. I'm fortunate enough that I don't. It was just weird. The spin was. I was shocked by it because as soon as it happened, I was like, whoa, and it's like, okay, you have those little twitches and spins on this game, and you can save it. But this one was like, I just let go of everything, and it was still gliding towards the wall, and I hit the wall, but I was fortunate enough to not get damaged. So it was really frustrating for me for that to happen. But I mean, I think one thing that really helped was the fact that I only got, I don't think I got a single warning that whole race. So keeping it within the track limits and still pushing hard. But I think everyone could see how much my pace fell off for the last 5 laps because you compare the pace I was doing, in stint one or the start of the hard stint with K5, I was quick and we were just flying and I had my confidence. But then when it starts to settle in my head that, because I've never ever won in my life. And when it starts to set in my head, it's like, this is it. Like, this could be my big moment. And then that's when I started to slow down in pace. I started to take it more cautiously. And obviously that started to affect me. And then, the gap from Aussie went from like 3.5 to 2.5, and then 1.5, and then that's what K5 was obviously doing. He was trying to manage his tires, and he was just backing me up into Aussie because there was one thing I wasn't able to do, regardless if I because there's not much braking zones around this track, I would be able to pull off 1 second by the final corner, but the DRS detection is at the second last corner, and he'll be 9.9 within me. So K5 would still keep the DRS and live to fight another day. So it's just like I couldn't get away from him, so I just had to stick with him the whole time, and then came Aussie 2K, and it was like, all right, just don't crash. Like didn't spin at all the whole race. I didn't make any mistakes, and then that happens. But that mistake probably just simply came down to the fact is like I've never won before, and I was just really excited. I have no idea what it was like to just come around the final corner and just win a race. So it feels good to finally have it off my chest that I just won. I kept it clean, and in normal league racing, a win is a win. I still would have won the race regardless. So I'm happy, uh, but just shocked.
Yeah, and
I don't know
that's
what to say, man.
and no, that's perfectly fine. And as I said, you drove a fantastic 28 laps. I said that little moment. Thankfully, it hasn't cost
Yeah.
you. But how are you looking forward to the season? Because obviously you finished strong last season, um, and the two socials that we've at least been able to stream. Um, you're strong in Belgium. Obviously, we think your sort of strategy didn't quite work out for you there, but
Oh yeah,
you
I did probably 2 laps of practice in Belgium, so I didn't know what it was like in Taiwan and all that stuff. So I didn't know. I was just going off what I was used to in F123, and obviously that didn't help. So strategy really cost me there in the end. I was just super super slow because I thought undercuts would pay off in the end. And so yeah, there's a short-term gain of having a 1 or 2 second lead over the cars, but then the long-term loss is way too big. I just couldn't do anything about it. To fight at the end of the race in Belgium, all I was doing was fighting with Aussie and K5, and what's his name, Yusuf just flew away in Belgium. But here, now that I did my practice and I did my studying, I understood what to do, and I just went with the suggested strategy as well. I didn't change anything. Liquid Jake, who I was racing with, he did an amazing job. Honestly, I couldn't believe that was one thing. If you noticed, I'm sure you as a commentator probably expected K5 and Aussie to just fly past Liquid. Um, because if you remember, Scotty, Liquid was on those old tires on the restart, but all of our tires were so cold. Jake, um, Jake's, because they were so worn, seemed to get up to temperature quicker, which was odd. He just had this grip that none of us had on new tires, and we were just struggling in sliding. I remember Aussie almost spun out in turn one, so we were all just struggling so much to get the tires heated up. It took me 4 laps to get the tires heated up, and then that's when we finally got to overtake Jake. But yeah, good race from him as well. By the way, I thought that was pretty magnificent to go from like last to sixth. So I just
Yeah,
want to say congrats to him as well.
yeah, definitely had a good recovery. But yeah, as I said, great racing, obviously from yourself the last couple of weeks. Obviously, that's not the only role you'll have this season. Obviously, you're in the TP role for RB as well this season. How are you feeling? Obviously, first the lottery coming up on Sunday. Obviously, with uh, sort of the draft picks. As I said, your ball choices are definitely interesting, but obviously the lottery, but then also the draft too. Obviously, not only you're sort of focusing on yourself, but also you got to keep an eye on some of these drivers that you're possibly wanting to pick next weekend. So, sort of how you feeling about that?
Um, I've had a few drivers contact me, and what I'm currently running at the moment is in my team. I'm also running my own personal trials, and I chose like tracks that I thought I really just wanted to see how they would do. So I just chose mainly technical tracks. So I didn't choose tracks like Qatar or whatever, because Qatar can just go flat out the whole bloody time. Whereas if I see a timeout of you in Japan or something, I'll find that really bloody impressive. That okay, in the S's you're finding this much time and all that stuff. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, is that I'm running my own trials. So I'm just evaluating my options. And so far, I'm impressed with my drivers at the moment that I've are doing my personal trials. So I'm happy with it. I won't reveal just yet who they are. I think everyone Aussie 2K revealed pretty quickly that Mertz was one of them. Clearly doesn't want me to take Mertz, but uh, yeah, they're all doing a pretty damn good job. Um, but yeah, that's kind of a little scope of what's going on in my side of the garage. That I'm just got my own personal thing going on to see what kind of driver I want. And obviously, I'm looking through all the streams that we've done for preseason to see how well they've done, and I look back at some of the F1 23 races as well to nit pocket. And yeah, I know I get the game is completely different, but the game's completely different, but I still kept my pace, and everyone else can keep their pace too. So if I look back at those races, I know that's their maximum potential as well. So yeah, that's kind of little scope of what I'm doing, like my little research ins and outs.
Yeah, and I think all TPs are sort of in the same boat that they'll have their eyes on it. But as I said, you're obviously working it a different way, sort of how you're doing your trials and that. But obviously, you'll be at least you'll be ready once we get to draft day. So again, congratulations on tonight's win, and obviously good luck for yourself, and then obviously for the lottery and the draft in the next week or so. So congratulations and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Alright, and that will just about wrap us up on this Friday evening for Inter's the pre-season race here at Qatar. But that's not the only action that we will see as we switch over to our week 3 pre-season calendar. And we've got one track down. We've still got 2 more socials left to go this week. Australia, the 50%er is tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So the check-in for that will go up very shortly. So hopefully we get another full grid for the TPs to be able to evaluate certain drivers that they may want on their teams. And then obviously Mexico Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. as well. So Mexico, some drivers saying a better track to drive than the previous game. So looking forward to that one. And then obviously lottery night on that Sunday night. We'll have the video up and we can see which drivers get the first pick of each particular tier. So we'll see where the ball allocations fell, who decided to go more in tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3. There are 12 balls to allocate for the 3 tiers. The ball choices were interesting for some of the TPs, so look forward to that. And then next week, Monday, 24th of June, our driver sign-ups for Inter's closed. So if you haven't signed up, check the Discord link, and we should be, you should be very close. As I said, we're looking forward to a very strong season 7. So if you want to join in the fun, make sure to sign up. And then on Wednesday, we release our season 7 calendar. So it'd be very interesting to see how the guys go, and it should be a fun calendar indeed, with the tracks which have been selected, and then the all-important draft night next Sunday, the 30th of June. It should be a very, very good draft. It's always fun draft night. So obviously we'll see who the TPs decide to pick for their teams, and then we'll have the season proper not long after that in early July. So it's going to be a busy couple of weeks here at Inters, and we're very thankful for your company in these streams. We'll try and bring you the action tomorrow and Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon for Australia and Mexico. But yeah, we're getting close to season 7 starting proper, and can't wait for it. So I've been Scotty in the comms box. Thank you very much for joining me for another great Inters race, and we'll see you tomorrow afternoon for the 50%er around Australia. So thank you for joining, and good night.